You probably think sanctuary cities are just about local governments minding their own business, refusing to help with immigration enforcement. But what you'll soon discover is that these so-called sanctuary policies have crossed a dangerous line from passive resistance into active criminal conspiracy. We're talking about elected officials who are literally breaking federal law, harboring criminals, and putting your safety at risk, all while using your tax dollars to do it. This isn't just politics anymore, guys. It's organized obstruction of justice happening in broad daylight. This video exposes how Democrat-run cities are breaking federal law, shielding criminals, and undermining your safety while pretending they're the good guys. From legal loopholes to federal betrayal, we're pulling back the curtain on what sanctuary cities have really become. Legalized sabotage. Get ready, because the truth is uglier than you think. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So if you like our videos and you haven't already, you should become a subscriber to the channel. Hit the notification bell and smack that like button because it helps us get our message out to more people, and you'll never miss a new video when it comes out. Okay. So-called sanctuary policies have long been defended as passive resistance, just cities and states minding their own business and choosing not to help enforce federal immigration law. But what happens when local officials do more than stand back and watch? What happens when they actively help illegal aliens evade arrest? That's not sanctuary, that's sabotage, and it's criminal. When you hear the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, say that Donald Trump illegally and unconstitutionally brought National Guard troops and then U.S. Marines into Los Angeles, that he broke the law.
I'm inside the Emergency Operations Center run by the County of Los Angeles here with Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor, thanks for joining us live on MSNBC.
Good to be with you.
So this is, as I said, the Emergency Operations Center. I wonder how you would characterize the events that are unfolding in Los Angeles right now. Is it an emergency? Is it, Fox News is calling it the L.A. riots? Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening and what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Of course, Newsom is lying because the President of the United States has an obligation to protect federal property and federal personnel, i.e. the ICE agents, when there is an invasion, a riot, or local law enforcement is overwhelmed and can't protect them. Since Gavin Newsom thrives on illegal aliens living in his state, he does nothing to have them deported, which is fine. I mean, that's because he doesn't have to help ICE, but he can't obstruct. And he has a bunch of local politicians who warn violent, criminal, illegal aliens that ICE raids are coming. Now, that is against the law, something that Gavin Newsom never talks about. We are being flooded with lies about this subject. The communists are saying that the Trump administration is just arbitrarily disappearing people on the streets. They're telling the American people that they have no right to arrest violent, criminal, illegal aliens for deportation. And they are lying to you, of course, because that's what Democrats do. Here's what they don't want you to understand. There's a massive difference between not cooperating and actively obstructing justice. Seems like common sense, right? And what's happening in these sanctuary cities crosses that line in the most brazen way possible. Oh, the Democrats are telling you that this is a peaceful protest. Yeah, and that's why they're handing out bionic shields to protect yourself in a riot.
Quite a shot that we have there of these folks, and your photographer just gave us a great shot of the box that was left behind, which showed the brand of mask. I mean, it's not the kind of thing, thank you for seeing this there. It looks like a bionic shield is what that's called. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you buy in bulk if you don't plan on doing something with it. And the fact that that's being handed out kind of like candy to everybody here gives you an indication that these folks probably plan to be here for a while.
Tomorrow will be a day of riots in multiple cities by these people. The No Kings group is preparing to bring so-called peaceful protests to many cities across the country. I would not be surprised if at least some of them turned into riots. Okay, now for some facts. Let's begin by making one thing clear. Only one branch of government legally holds the constitutional authority over immigration. According to Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, often referred to as the enumerated powers, Congress alone has the power to establish an uniform rule of naturalization. That means that the federal government has sole authority over immigration laws, no one else. This isn't some obscure legal technicality we're debating over coffee. This is the foundational law of our republic, and these local officials are spitting in its face. They are lying to you about what the Trump administration is doing to obfuscate their own criminal behavior. Now think about it. Last month, 2 judges were arrested for helping illegal aliens escape from ICE arrests. It's because they broke the law. So even a judge can be arrested and charged with a crime if they violate federal immigration laws. Federal immigration laws are not just a suggestion, guys. It is codified law, and there are penalties for violating it. The media is trying to help the Democrats gaslight you into thinking that's not true. They want you to believe that anybody with a heart can try and save a violent criminal illegal alien from deportation, and they're lying to you. One thing that these despicable Democrats never talk about is how what the Trump administration is doing is actually protecting and safeguarding American citizens, many of whom are the voting constituents of the very Democrats who are trying to keep the violent criminal illegal aliens in the country, who will eventually go on, many of them, and hurt many of their own constituents. Now, this is madness. Federal law is clear. Helping illegals hide is a felony. Under 8 U.S.C. 1324, it's a felony to harbor or shield illegal aliens from detection, encourage them to stay in the U.S. unlawfully, or obstruct efforts to remove them. Now, we know for a fact that many Democrats have done this. We're talking elected officials. The law doesn't make exceptions for city mayors or woke attorneys general, not even for leftist governors. If you knowingly help someone stay in the country illegally, you have broken the law. So when mayors tip off illegals about upcoming ICE raids like Oakland's Libby Schaaf did in 2018, that's not community leadership, guys. That's obstruction of justice, and it puts federal agents' lives at risk. ICE confirmed that hundreds of criminals slipped away because of her warning. No consequences, no accountability, just another political trophy on the left shelf. Well, she broke the law. And when you hear recently all these Democrat politicians saying that every single time that we hear of an ICE raid coming in, we're going to send out the word. We're going to come out on the streets and we're going to protest again. She means they're going to riot every single time that Trump administration tries to put an ICE raid into L.A. That's what they're saying. So what they're doing is they're openly admitting, they're like confessing to committing federal felonies. Now think about it for just a moment. Hundreds of criminals, people who had already broken our immigration laws and committed additional crimes, walked free because a mayor decided she knew better than federal law enforcement. All right, so Democrats are confirming for the American people over and over again that they care more about illegal aliens staying in this country than they do about the welfare and the safety of their American constituents. The 10th Amendment isn't a free pass to obstruct justice. Now, the usual suspects will start screaming about the 10th Amendment. Yes, the Constitution has limits what the federal government can force states to do. Sanctuary cities lean hard on the 10th Amendment to justify non-cooperation with ICE. But let's be clear. Not helping is one thing. Actively helping criminals escape is another. There's a constitutional difference between choosing not to assist and choosing to interfere. When officials block ICE detainers, they scrub databases or send text alerts warning illegals to hide, they are no longer just declining to participate. They're engaged in a cover-up, and they are breaking federal law, and no amount of gaslighting by the fake news media is going to change that fact. But here's where it gets really interesting and infuriating. These sanctuary Democrats are used to a Department of Justice not cracking down on that kind of lawless behavior. And it is lawless behavior. They're used to priorities shifting away from enforcing immigration laws and toward punishing political dissent, because that's what communists do. What we have right now is an administration that ran on fixing the disaster that the Biden administration left behind, namely the unchecked flood of nearly 20 million illegal aliens causing chaos across the country. The Trump administration is doing what federal law requires, arresting and deporting violent, criminal, illegal aliens. But let's be clear, they don't have to be violent to be deported. Every illegal alien is subject to removal. That is the law. Democrats love to say no one is above the law, but their actions say otherwise. Apparently, they believe that both they and illegal aliens that they protect are the exception to that rule. It's the only thing that makes sense to explain their behavior. Now, imagine if your town's police chief warned drug dealers about an upcoming DEA raid, or if your governor tipped off felons to help them avoid arrest. It would be national news, and they would be in jail before sundown. But when it comes to illegal immigration, the left rewrites the rules for some reason. Let's call it what it is. Harboring criminals, obstructing justice, undermining federal law. And it's happening in broad daylight, often funded by your tax dollars. So why are they doing it? When in any other context, this would be criminal. Because it's all about politics. The last census made it clear. Americans are fleeing blue states in droves, escaping oppressive policies for the freedom of red states. The exodus was so massive, some blue states actually lost congressional seats. And with that loss comes fewer electoral college votes. But instead of learning their lesson and treating their citizens better, maybe like something other than prisoners of war, Democrats came up with a different plan. Flood the country with tens of millions of illegal aliens, count them in the next census, and claw back the political power they lost. And they did this at taxpayer expense, and anyone who tells you differently is lying to you. This is the ultimate political calculus. Replace the Americans who fled your terrible policies with illegal aliens who can't vote but still get counted for congressional representation. It's brilliant in its cynicism and devastating in its consequences. This isn't about immigration. It's about law and order. Elected officials don't get to pick and choose which federal laws they feel like enforcing, especially not when it endangers Americans and law enforcement. What the heck is wrong with these people? Sanctuary cities were never about safety. They've become shield generators for lawbreakers, and the politicians running them are long overdue for federal prosecution. It's about time we have an administration that isn't afraid to stand up to the Democrats and tell them they are not above the law. Now, here's the bright side. We finally have leadership willing to enforce the law equally, despite what the libnuts tell you. When federal prosecutors start bringing charges against mayors and governors who obstruct immigration enforcement, you'll see how quickly these sanctuary policies disappear. The rule of law isn't dead. It just needed the right people to enforce it. All right, thank you for watching. Check out our live stream tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. You'll have a blast. I'll see you in the next one.
I got saved.